Cool.
Cool. I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey. We're on the air.
We're on the air.
We're
We're getting
racing to
ready to
graduate.
graduate.
Well, you are. You're graduating students. So
Graduating students in a
yeah.
couple weeks. I think like, I was looking, my daughter's actually not in school much longer after I get out. It's only like another week. So,
Kids get out what in May?
the third week of May? Yeah. I think Will's district is a little bit different. They're a little bit more, oh, what's the term that I'm looking for? Um, I don't know. Yeah.
It's the term you're looking for. Derisive.
Kind of, but it's not
Uh,
like Nazi-ish, you know.
Certainly not. I mean,
Well, I was going concentration camp kind of thing, but you know,
okay. I was just gonna say non-traditional because they do the extra time at Christmas, less time at summer, right?
no, less time at summer.
Well, I think they get two at Thanksgiving.
See, that's it. Is they get two fall, they get like a fall break, they get a spring break, they get. I don't think it's a longer Christmas break. It might be like an extra week, but they're like back like the first fucking week of August,
Yeah,
which is
because I think that
fucking a war crime.
something to the tune of like 4 weeks disappear off of summer, but they
Right.
make it in at like spring break, Thanksgiving,
Right.
Christmas, and
That's right. Because they
um,
get a fall break and Thanksgiving break.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
Oh man,
think
that would
so.
infuriate me as a teacher. So it's like, oh, they get a week off, and then like 4 weeks later, oh, you get another week off. It'd be like, okay,
Maybe that's not it, or maybe it's maybe they only do get 1 week off at Christmas. I don't
I
know.
have no idea. No, they get more. They get at least 2 weeks off at Christmas. So.
Actually, you're right. Because
Yeah.
yeah, they go well past New Year.
Yeah. They were all up in the news today. Their D49's actually doing a thing banning trans athletes. So
Good.
they don't have any. Yeah.
Ain't gonna get none.
Yeah, I ain't gonna get none either. But it was
Well,
kind
I
of like
mean,
it was funny because KRDO was out there interviewing people. Everybody was like, "Fine." It was like, "Yeah, I don't want my girl in the locker with a guy." So it was just like really common sense stuff. It's not like they were trying to actually do it, but it just seems like you're a little bit late to that party,
I mean, so it could be. I mean, in theory, it could be a response to what they're trying to do in the state capitol, but
man. Well, what are they doing in the state capitol?
state capitol actually passed the parents. So misgendering your own child will be counted as child abuse.
Dun dun dun. You're gonna send DPS to your door who can take your kids away for that.
That's what it says.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see, man. I'd like to see that one show up in court. So,
I agree. I have, dude. I'm starting to dislike most of the members of our government in Colorado.
oh yeah,
Well,
I don't really know any.
that's disgusting. Well, if you're making collective decisions like that,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
Well, I
Because
mean,
that's a no, man. That's like a 90-10 thing.
well, they're doing it in the legislature. Our legislator is fucking 2/3 blue.
Right.
Well, that's our fault.
What here?
Here, I think two of our reps here are blue, if I'm not
That's well,
mistaken.
they should be. But I mean,
Yeah, that's true. I don't even know how many we had. That was that whole election that was like last week. That was all for the city council. So
right,
yeah,
right.
and even our city council's got two or three blue guys on it. So
Here's the thing: it should be.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
that's like I would think any city of our size should be like it should have Democrats on it,
Yeah.
right? If you're in a city of close to 500,000 people and you
Oh,
have
more than that.
yeah, if you have no Democrat presence on it, you're just not gonna. It's like a
It's
it's
gonna
like
be weird.
yeah, it's like an unbalanced balance, man. It's like they show that thing. It's like when they show you like Rice Krispies, there's always like fucking grapefruits and a whole bunch of other shit to make up what it doesn't have. Like you can't just
Just put sugar on it.
like you get singular party rule without dissent causes severe inbreeding, and like it gets bad. It gets bad. I mean, those are
But I don't even know who our state reps are.
some losers. You know what?
Yeah, I
Actually,
don't even know.
it'd be fun. Yeah, I would laugh if it just turned out as guys that we knew.
Oh yeah,
He just turned around.
it was like Jerry at the gas
Just,
station. Yeah,
from that guy?
yeah, exactly.
All right, that would be yeah.
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 It's like I thought you just worked for Come and Go. It was like, no, no, I'm state rep.
Well, I was gonna, but I couldn't get on board when they went the Maverick route, and
Yeah.
I'm a come and go guy for life, and so I went to be a state rep. Go Union. Or whatever. I don't know. Everybody's got a pet cause.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
So maybe
Yeah.
he's like a big time.
Have your dog spayed or neutered. It's like I could get on board with that.
I will. All right.
Yeah, I will.
Agree with that.
Yeah. Thank you, Jerry.
Matter of fact, Jerry, would you support a program for spaying and neutering pets in low-income houses? Just a little bit of assistance for that?
That'd be great.
I'm willing to give up a little of my check for that.
Yeah. I haven't really seen much news come out of the state lately. So
that's the big one, because that one has actually been getting.
So that's a law, or that's an ordinance, or what?
Hasn't crossed Polis's desk yet.
Is he going to sign it?
I don't know.
He's always pretty quiet on that shit.
Here's a weird one.
He is a weird
There
one.
are people that suggest, possibly rightly so. I mean, you have that video of him doing that weird ass dance, which isn't great. It's not quite the.
Dude, that's from like 5 years ago.
I know. But it's certainly not like, oh, we're going back to Washington D.C. Take back the White House. So I don't know if it's quite that, but there are people that suggest that Polis might be a decent candidate.
He won't do it. He won't do it. So he's not. He's too smart, and he's too rich. So I mean,
well,
yeah. Like 2028. I mean, unless like tariffs turn out to be the worst idea ever.
I gotta tell you, man.
So the 2028 is going to be a pretty tough nut to crack, and so you got to be a lunatic in order to. And on top of it, the Democrat Party has got no. I mean, well, this is so far away now; it doesn't even matter. But
well, yeah,
well, they got no leadership, so they got to do that internal fighty fight first. Jared Polis is no dog in that fight. So in the internal fighty fight, I mean, you think he's going to be able to go up against guys like Shapiro and Gavin Newsom and stuff? No, he's not going to fucking do that.
I think he could.
I think he could, but there's no way he could pull it off, and I don't think he would. I don't think it would be worth the fight for him. So
I think there's a chance that
he's older than all those guys too. So
not by much though.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but he's been in Congress since the
right.
90s. So yeah. Because that's where he came from. He was a tech dude before the crash.
Well, I thought he was the flowers guy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he did online flower delivery.
Right, flowers, right?
Well, yeah.
Which is because I think that would be the thing. It's like, you're going to be president. It's like, yes, you're the 1-800-Flowers guy. It's like, and
yeah, exactly.
Are you trying to tell me that was a bad? I'm going to show you some receipts here.
No, man, he's like one of the richest dudes in Congress, or was.
Yeah, there are people that have
he's
him beat.
Ridiculously rich.
There are people that have him beat, though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but I mean, he's got. Well, I don't. He was up there because you'll find like people. There's people out there who have like $30 million. So which is that was Wayne's threshold for what he called adult money.
God,
huh?
That's quite the threshold. That's.
Well, he said that was at the point in time where you either needed more,
right,
or you were good.
You're right. There's that moment of thinking, it's like, can I put it all back on the table for one more spin?
And that's and other people would be like, I can't possibly spend $30 million unless I go like the yacht and private island.
You and I, it would be like fucking Brewster's Millions. Like it would be able to like deliberately trying to give it away in two. Quick, the oven. No, it's like if we're like I can't even picture it because it's like we're trying to give everything away in 2 hours. It's like, I can't.
Yeah, you can't do it.
I can't.
Yeah. So there's guys, but Polis, if I recall, he's in the hundreds of millions kind of range. He's not a billionaire.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure there's a couple billionaire congressmen. So,
There are.
I wouldn't know who they are though. I
There's
mean,
a. I think there's a couple, and I think some are very, very close.
yeah, I had a book on this a little while ago where I kind of laid it out. There is one guy that's just stupidly rich, but Polis was up there on the list.
Well, he always makes the list of whenever they break down the top Colorado rich people. He's always
He's
on
up
top of
there,
that
yeah.
list. As well as the dude from Dish Network was.
He's on there,
He's up there.
and Phil Anschutz. So
Who is he?
they did it was
I know the name.
yeah. So it's Anschutz Medical Campus up. It's the CU Medical Campus.
Okay,
He's an
right.
insurance dude.
Okay.
So,
Look,
and
and
Coors, the Coors
oh
guys are and
yeah.
Montforts. Yeah.
I always look. I never see Louisa Graff Diamonds and Jewelers. So
Louis the Cat.
I guess she's
She
like
had too many kids, man.
fucking
So,
small potatoes compared
totally
to
small
these
potatoes. He smash and grab at the fucking Citadel. The other day. Did you see that?
No.
Oh man, dude,
No.
come on, man.
No.
Yeah, Twitter had a great fucking, like internal cam footage on from KKTV 11 of these guys.
Was it ghetto as shit?
It was well done. We'll put it that way. And so they basically took a big rock and threw it through the front door of the mall, and then ran in there with a couple hammers and pickaxe, and smashed up this jewelry store and made off with like $200,000 worth of shit.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, the next thing the
man.
guy, like, this like small business family that owned it, they're like, "Fuck this, we're done." So, and they said, like, because it turned out to be like a really sad story because they were in between insurance carriers.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know, and so they were just like, "Yeah, well, congratulations, asshats. You just put our family out of business." So, yeah.
Is it that jewelry store that's been in there for?
I couldn't tell from the angle which one it was. It said it was close to the doors, and I know that other one that was in there was not close to the doors.
The one that was on the corner that had the.
See, and I'm
corner
sorry, dude. I
malls?
can't remember the difference between the two malls anymore. I'd actually have to go back to them, because I don't remember the layouts on them. It's been that long since I've been to either one.
Yeah, but this is the thing, Patrick. You don't even leave the house to buy your own food. You are
No.
not going to go just to investigate a
No,
smash and grab
no.
a fucking Citadel.
No,
Mall.
my understanding is the Citadel Mall is like basically like, the Thunderdome nights.
Look, it always.
You're not going to make it through their territory in order to get into the front entrance.
just walk away.
Just walk away.
No, it always was, but I mean, you can't have. I mean, this is the thing that people don't get sometimes. You can't really have a thick, nasty, like real population of no good nicks unless your denominator is big enough to support it. Because your bad eggs don't come out 1 out of every 10 or 100, right?
No.
You have to have a large enough population. So, like, there was a straight up fucking like psychopath that stabbed the dude in the head 10 times with a screwdriver in New York, right?
Yeah.
That's New York.
Yeah, that's New York.
Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's okay. And maybe, okay, you might.
No, they don't let that guy go because it's New York.
Well, and his thing is like, you probably won't see that dude in Chugwater because like everybody knows him.
Well, yeah,
Right.
they take care of that problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Or he's just somebody's fucking cousin, and they
Yeah.
they have him like locked up.
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
Jim. Just don't be alone with Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim is not to be near children.
No, right,
It's like Jim, like fucked up Jim. It's like
Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
like that.
But yeah, it's only in those places like that where you can have enough of a population that you will get the severely fucked up.
Mhm.
Yeah, and including people who would smash and grab the goddamn Citadel Mall.
They were in and out so fast. It was amazing. So it was like GTA 5 with like, I don't know, West California 10s
Right.
running around. Yeah.
Right.
And it was dark.
In theory, look, in theory, we should have them beat. This is still the fittest state in the union.
Yeah.
But those numbers are not what they used to mean.
No, I actually did some reading on that a while ago because I've just been like doing some unofficial polling.
Strange,
Well,
but
picking
cool.
up my daughter. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, all right. So once when we went to the high school, all right, for her orientation.
Hmm.
And it was all like students and parents and stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay. And so, it says that the average like weight of Americans has gone up.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think that means, and I don't know, I'd have to look into this a little bit more because this is all anecdotal, but I do know how to actually like take a look at a sample size and realize it's like, okay, so this is actually speaking to something a little bit more noticeable once you notice it in large enough numbers, shall we say.
Okay.
Okay. Is that most of the kids are still rail skinny. Most of them really are.
Here.
Well, I don't know about elsewhere because I can't say anything about that. But even
Right.
here, I would say the average weight has probably gone up since you and I were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
would
So
say
that's
so.
what I would say. All right. So, but there are a few kids now
Yes.
that are enormous.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas when I was in school, we had one guy that was that big.
Well, now it's not like so if there's like 30 out of a class,
Right.
I'd say about 20 of them are skinny as a rail.
Right.
And about 5 of them are what you and I used to call kind of like beefy or heavy.
Right. Right.
And then there's 5 that
that
did not exist when we were kids. So,
well, there was one that existed as a kid.
in our school?
Yes, but he was in my class, not yours.
Oh, that's okay.
So he was 2 years younger than you, and look, nicest guy in the world. His name was Big Jim. That's what we call him.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Did he play football?
He most certainly did.
Yeah, okay. So I think like having a big gym every here and there is not that uncommon.
That is correct. He was unbeatable on offensive line.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
But again, just like this, you wouldn't mess with him. He's just the nicest guy in the world. But he was the guy, right? The one.
Yeah.
Right? Versus 5.
Yeah. But it's still a minority. That's my point.
Oh, it's a minority for sure. And my understanding is that places like ours are going to tend to be a little bit more on that side. But places
the
like,
fit side or the fat side?
The fit side.
Why?
Versus, well, because they're not Mississippi. Because they're not. So what it looks like, and this is, all right, this is, I'm just going to say it like it is. I have looked at certain statistics when it comes to life without this or life without that. And what I can tell you here is without the American South, American health goes up considerably.
Oh, dude, the South is terrible. So,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there many times, so I know. And it's just, I'm going to tell you, like, you know what it really is? It's food proportions. So they're like you go down south and you ask for, what you think would qualify for a lunch here.
Yeah.
And it comes with 2 corn on the cob.
Cut in half?
Uh-huh.
Or full.
Well, no, that would be 4.
Okay.
And that's just a part of it. And then everybody gets, they get sleepy in the afternoon.
Can you blame, again, like in that area, especially like it would, that area where it's like 2 in the afternoon and it's hot and it's humid and you're like, I don't want to do anything. It's like, do you? Mm-hmm. It's like, no. And I'm too full to do anything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't doubt it. I mean, and I get it that a lot of that is tradition and stuff like that. But yeah, it does sort of, it really changes the actual demographics of the United States. It also, the same thing where,
yeah.
I mean, dude.
I think the worst place that I've been to is Florida.
Florida is weird, though.
It kind of, but just, yeah.
There's so many different populations there. It's bizarre.
Well, I was in Orlando.
I mean,
that's just
okay. Right. Yeah, that's
true.
Yeah.
The true center of Florida as you can get.
Yeah.
And man, there were some big people in Florida.
Well, you said that cruise was just
that cruise was something else, man. But I'm not going to blame that on Florida, man. So
no, that was just the departure point. That was
the departure point. And the same thing is true with like Disney World, or where we went to. No, we didn't go to Epcot. Where the fuck did we go? We went to MGM. So, or no, Universal.
Right.
So I can't hold the park against because they come
No.
from everywhere. But then you go and you go to eat at a local restaurant. Okay, you
Yeah.
stop at the gas station. You look at the hotel clerks.
So you investigated the locals, did you?
Well, it was kind of hard not to notice. So, yeah. So, but it was just, it's a different thing. And I mean, but like I've lived in, like when I lived in Nebraska, people there eat like hogs, man, but they don't get fat. So, um, I have no idea what the difference is.
Few things. I mean, like when you told me about now, granted, they can't all be this, but when you were telling me about Homeboy that's pulling, train cars, himself.
There are quite a few of those guys there.
So there are dudes that
Yeah.
just like they're strong. Why
Yeah,
are they strong?
because they're corn fed.
And that's the thing is when it comes down to it, like I don't know if you've ever seen some of these things, but you'll see like occasionally they'll do like um it's a popular form of video. They don't call it gym challenges, but it's like they'll take dudes who are completely unassuming
Hmm.
but freakishly strong.
Oh yeah, I've seen them do that with that like iron cup and stuff. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. And what they'll do is they'll get in there with a dude who's about to deadlift 500, and
Right.
like he'll come in there dressed as a janitor, and he'll just like
Or I've seen him where he's an old man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he goes out to the Muscle Beach guys, and does like fucking flips on the bars and all this other stuff. But and so there's a those strength sets are two very different things, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, one of those clearly genetic. So
Genetic, but
yeah.
also like muscle doesn't like hypertrophy. It does not equal strength per se. It doesn't.
I don't know what hypertrophy is.
Hypertrophy is the process of like bodybuilding where like it happens because you keep breaking muscle fibers and healing on top of it so you get bulk.
Okay.
Right? But that bulk doesn't actually necessarily conform to strength. Right?
No.
Whereas people out there who can move and lift like heavy things, they can look like regular schlubs.
Yeah, they're just wired real tight. So I've known guys like that.
And yeah, and that's the thing is moving weight consumes calories.
Oh yeah.
Or even people that it's like, well, did you like throw 100 bags today? It's like, no. It's like, what'd you do? It's like, I was just walking.
Yeah.
And people that just
I've
walk
known
for like
people like
half a
that,
day,
yeah.
it's like shit. It's like
I knew guys like that at the airport,
Yeah.
I mean, I knew other guys like bodybuilder guys,
right.
boxers and stuff like
There we go,
that,
yeah.
and they would actually do a lot of that shit. But then there'd be like this, like my first job we had this like 50-year-old man,
Yeah.
and he came from Iowa.
don't say.
He ate a big breakfast every single day, so an enormous breakfast, and that guy was freakishly strong, even though he was, I mean, you look at him, and he had little knobby knees, and and the extra like elbow Popeye bump,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And he was just freakishly strong, so
Yeah.
and he was just
Yeah.
wired that way, It was interesting. I've known a couple people like that over the years. And this kid at the warehouse who was like that too. He was just like fucking probably weighed 130 pounds. It could easily lift his own weight way over his head.
Exactly.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like an ant.
It's crazy. Sit him down and like you actually like formally test his strength. It's get him on the press and he's moving 3 plates. You're like, Jesus Christ.
He was kind of like that, man. He was a little guy too. So
And that's the thing is muscle is that thickness of it does not necessarily correlate to strength.
yeah, no, I get that.
I mean, it can because I mean, like if you're doing that and you're trying to do that over time,
Mhm.
I mean, you're doing a ton of reps, but you're also doing you tend to go up with the motions, but that also means that you're good at those motions, right?
Mhm.
So it's a little bit weird. And when it used to be when you'd watch like those strongman contests on ESPN, and actually it's kind of gotten back to that. For a while there, it looked like the fucking roid freaks had kind of taken over, but it went back to the.
The chubby guys. Yeah.
I don't want to say chubby. They look chubby next to bodybuilders,
Yeah.
but you're like, no, you are just
He's just a solid dude.
yeah.
No. Yeah. The guy that night I worked with on the railroad to move his own train cars, he was like that. I mean, he was trim, but he had a big frame too. So he was just a big dude.
Was he a guy with like huge hands and everything too?
Yeah, he had the
Yeah.
big, fucking Andre the Giant hands and stuff. Yeah,
Crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
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 And yeah, he was a little doughy, but not like, yeah, not like the guys that you see in the strongman competition. He was a little bit more cut than that.
Yeah.
So, but he was a lot younger too.
It's weird, man. There are certain things that have like changed in those industries. Like, the like when you look at how the hot dog eating contests have changed, where they went from big fat dudes named El Wingador to like Joey Chestnut, who, you know,
He retired, didn't he?
he may have.
Yeah, I think he did.
I mean, but he's like the undisputed champion, like of the world, 10 times
Well, him
over.
and the Japanese guy,
Well, that's the thing is Chestnut. So Kobayashi
Kobayashi.
went and blew everybody's records up, and then Chestnut like destroyed everything.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like what is this weird Japanese hot dogging technique that you have here? I wonder if I can Americanize this better. And he did, and just essentially buried everybody else. Now, I'm hoping that somewhere, like, yeah, I hope that he's taken his eating millions and decided, like, I have like 30 good years left on me, and I don't have to hot dog this. I don't have to.
I hope he's got a good financial advisor. Because that's like the one guy. You're the one guy who made money off
Yes.
it.
Yes. Well, these other they do make money off it, but money is relative. Money
Right,
is
yeah. You made 500 extra bucks. Go back to your job at the gas station.
Dude,
Yeah.
here's the weird thing is, when you look at the people who have like professions that sound like the dream professions and stuff, you get those guys just like, what do you do? It's like, well, I'm a professional League of Legends player. And like,
Oh, yeah.
and you see those guys, and to them, they don't think they're the big time because they're not making basketball player money. But if you compare that against normal people, you're like, you're doing great.
Well, and you have to compare yourself against whatever the top is. You can't be a League of Legends player and compare yourself to LeBron James. That's not fair.
But that's the thing is, they want to be held in that same.
I'm sorry,
regard.
man. People don't like League of Legends as much as they like the NBA.
Well, I would argue that more people like this game, but they're not paying to go to 81 games
No,
of UC. They're not going to go see it in person.
no.
So
And I'm not going to just sit here and watch you on Twitch and give you money.
and it's the people, right? It's the people who are going to get jealous because they're not making as much as the LeBron James that aren't going to handle the money well because they're mad that they're not making LeBron James money.
Yeah, esports just didn't take off the way that people thought it would. So I think Twitch kind of killed it.
Well, so let me
Because it's free. You can watch it for free.
Well, you can watch it for free, and so esports, it does make money when you're showing it on the thing, but and it's not like you do get the events and stuff. They do monetize and everything like that.
Sure.
It's just that they wanted to present it as something that it wasn't,
Yeah.
and in doing so, they took all of the joy and flavor out of what makes it good. And yes, sometimes I know this is just how it goes. Sometimes shit gets real ghetto in esports, and there are feuds, and there are guys that don't like each other.
But you really got to watch it closely. So in order to pick up on that shit.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
You do. And on top of that, like, you can't go in there and basically sanitize the things out that the people actually that have been following it enjoy.
Mhm.
Number two, you can't present it like it's goddamn, football, because it's not, right?
No. Well, and that's the thing. It's like football is one game.
Right.
Esports is more
All
than
of
that.
them. Yes.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
of
So not only do you have to know the game, but you also have to know the players who play that game
Right.
and the different leagues that are involved in that game.
Right.
Yeah, it's just too much, dude. Yeah.
Well, and then you have to get to the last component of this, where it is on streaming, and
Mm-hmm.
the market will tell you the truth. And if you throw that stuff up there, and you are having tournaments, and you are getting whooped by girls in fucking hot tubs and stuff. I'm like, well, hey man, I get it. It's not fair and it's not right. But people vote with their eyeballs, and
Yep.
I'm sorry, man. Like league loses out tonight. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Yep.
Like I apologize, but
Well, it just seemed that like at every turn they try to make it more difficult to actually enjoy it. So and that just, dude, that's just what gaming people do.
It's not just gaming, man. There's a lot of things.
Well, there's
out
trained
there.
people. I'll tell you all about trained people.
there are a lot of things out there that do not like their audience. They want to chase out their audience and find this magical new audience that doesn't exist. Right? We have to appeal to this quote unquote mainstream crowd, right? The mainstream this is the funny thing about the world now. Mainstream crowd will find you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll totally find it. And then you clean your shit up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Or make it dirtier. I mean, this is the thing.
Well, yeah, but then if you make it dirty, you can't expect them to stay.
It's if that's what they came there for. Look, the most embarrassing sport that I've seen to date at this point is the power slap because
those are fun to watch though.
But this is the thing. It's like, I've watched it, dude. I've transcribed it. I mean, this is the thing. I saw this shit before it got on TV because I was doing like promo videos of this.
Right.
And at first I'm like, we are fucking hillbillies. But when you get down to it, I'm like, all right, I can watch this. I would never follow it professionally, but I would watch this in a bar or something or something on TV.
That's where I've seen it.
And the fact is, you can't take something like this and sanitize it to the point where it's like, how do we get the violence out of power slap? It's like
you can't.
Right.
The whole idea is to actually concuss the other person.
That's totally exactly. Yeah. And so when it comes down, it's like, no, actually you have to like accentuate. And so any normal argument that goes to like, how do we reach a mass audience with this? You have to do the opposite.
Well, I don't know. I think you just have to be realistic about how much of an audience you're going to get. So,
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, most people, that's like marketing 101 is, okay, what's the total frontier of people who would enjoy this?
Right.
I don't think Power Slap is going to be anywhere close to the fucking NBA.
So, yeah. I mean,
so don't turn it into that,
Like, you couldn't take your girlfriend to a Power Slap contest. She'd be like, she's either going to say this is dumb, it's boring, or it's brutal.
Or she might be the rare one who's really into it.
She's like, woo! Because they do have chicks in the sport too.
Yeah, so. I've seen those.
Yeah.
Some of them were scary looking.
You need to do some genetic testing on them too.
I'm not getting a needle anywhere near that.
My name's Alice. How do you want to be?
Yeah, exactly. But I love him all.
I think you'd have to, like, if it's not taken, you have to be the Crushinator. Yeah. I mean, I love it. I do. It's the kind of, that's the kind of gamble that you can only take when TV has hit. What is that term? Post scarcity. Yeah, TV is at that post scarcity point where
post scarcity.
Yeah, where it's
so you have more than 3 channels.
Right. Okay, it's more avenues to publish than you could ever want.
Yeah.
Right. They always talk about that in like the Star Trek universe. It's like, well, once we had food replicators, it became a post scarcity.
Right. Yeah. It's like we work because otherwise we get bored. It's like,
No, they're up their asses further. They say they work to better themselves in their society.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
That was the way Starfleet was so cool.
It's funny because I've read things about this. I'm like, you know what? All right, I like the idea of this, and the more that you spend time with it, the more that they've actually tried to write in and sort of like address the flaws within the system, because when they talk, because it's brilliant because they're like they'd have those episodes, especially like in those first few seasons of like Next Generation, where like people from like 1992 were
Oh God, it was
like
awful. The fucking barbarians. Yeah.
they'd be like in a frozen pod, and they found them out in space, and they bring them in.
Welcome
And
to the world of
yeah,
tomorrow.
and
You know.
and the dude would be kind of like, "This is a nice hotel. How much does it cost to stay here?" And then, the Star Trek people would look at each other funny and give kind of like a self-satisfied chuckle. It's like, money? We've been beyond money.
Ew. Yeah.
We haven't needed currency since, the early 2000s or whatever, right?
Right.
And and then of course it would become a lecture about how things fixed as soon as it
Well,
got
and those
past
are the
that.
worst DS9 episodes. You know,
Well, and see, it's the thing about that
that are in there.
is actually genius because they're like, wait,
Oh, dude, some of those are so cringe to
oh,
watch. Come
don't get me
on,
wrong,
man.
but I'm saying the conflict there where you say like, but you are just one federation and a society. How do you deal with other places that do have currency exchange?
Right.
So that's when they talk about like, all right, we do have problems in this society. There are iniquities that are caused by this, and there have to be like, so they talk about how like the Federation has to have like a reserve of gold to use as bargaining with places that I was like,
You just replicate
oh,
gold.
you can't.
Why?
I don't know, but you can't.
Because it's plot breaking.
That is correct. That is correct. You're
Right.
absolutely correct. But yeah, there are things like that. No, gold you can. Gold latinum you cannot. That cannot be replicated. That's why you keep it in the gold. That's why the
Okay.
Ferengi use it as their
Is
currency.
that actually a real thing?
No,
Okay, got it.
no,
All right.
no.
So yeah, it's adamantium. Got it.
Right, right,
Unobtainium.
right.
Understood.
And I do like that. See, to me, within the confines of a universe like that, that is how you take an existing idea and expand on it
Hmm.
and give depth without destroying the lore that came before it, but just adding the
Yeah, I
wrinkles
mean,
and
well, yeah.
complications that
I
come
mean,
along with it.
that's also when you're on the content fucking hamster wheel. So
I would much rather take the '90s content hamster
mhm.
wheel uh, than the fucking like bilge that we're
No, I
subjected to now.
understand that, but I'm just saying that when you actually have enough room to run your legs like that, you do have to come up with stuff like that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I'm not saying it's worse. I'm saying it's better.
I can promise you, it's better. It's
Yeah.
much better.
Well, apparently, a
It's
Minecraft
90%.
movie made a fucking shitload of money.
I've never seen a movie I'm less interested
I'm
in.
not interested in either, but I'm glad the kids are having fun.
I am too.
Whatever, you know.
As a matter
I saw the
yeah.
opening weekend stats. I was like, wait, what? It was like somebody's been having some pented up anger at the rest of the fucking movie world because there's obviously fucking demand out there because everybody's like, finally something I can take my kids to. You know?
This is what you call a mandate. Yes,
Right, yes, exactly.
This is yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think, and one of the things that I really enjoy about this, and I mentioned this, made a tweet about it, was one of the things that they're doing is I guess there are some moments within the film that are super like important to the community, like it's like an in joke. So when you go to certain screenings,
Hmm.
you're expected to whoop it up in those spots,
Oh, okay.
right? Like the other ones, you're supposed to stay quiet. But what this is like a young person's version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Oh, okay.
where you used to go at midnight and that crowd would
Right. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
shout all this shit at the same time.
Yeah.
I went to that once. It's like, you guys are weird.
That movie's dumb, man. I'm sorry.
The movie's dumb. Like the experience, if you're with those fucking losers, like it's cool. Like in
I've
terms
never
of,
done that, so
like
I've
I
never
said,
even known people who were into that. I mean, I know I could find them,
right.
but I've never had someone like, "Hey, Pat, are you into blah blah blah?" And it's like, "Wait, why? Yes, I am." It's never come up.
Well, it all depends, Patrick, on what was your proximity to theater kids when you were in high school?
Almost none.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it is when you hang out with theater kids that you will go to things like this.
That is definitely the problem then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
But
knew.
no, it's not a problem.
Well, I knew zero, so
Okay. Zero is the right amount to know.
perfect.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Look, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just like you guys do have this own separate world where you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, and I'm glad that I've gotten to see it. Um, I do not care. Like again, it's just this is fun. This is neat. And,
Yeah, no.
it's silly, but you guys
It's silly.
and the fact that kids are doing that, I'm like, that's cool. That's actually when you talk about what is the merit of a movie going theater experience, it is that exactly. It is that crowd sharing the energy versus you just whooping it up in your own living room by yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah.
Like that's cool. That's what theaters are for them.
Yeah, those are called baseball games for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Oh, I had a rough one on Tuesday. Um, I think you. No, I think it's your brother that has them bad. I had like the worst migraine of my life on Tuesday.
He gets them bad.
Yeah, and I hadn't gotten one in a while, but
It's been a minute for me.
dude, this one like it laid me. I was just gonna completely like laid me out for like the entire day, and it's the first time that I ever had one so bad that I had like aftershocks the next day.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it was rough, and so
So what does a migraine do to you? Because mine are very like I get them, they last for about 20 minutes, and I literally go somewhat blind when it's happening. So, but then that's it. After that, I'm fine.
so I get like those mild ones every now and then,
Hmm.
and that's okay, right? I'm like, this sucks. I don't like doing this, but when I get like the big ones, and like this last one, so the pain just persisted for it was like
What kind of
hours.
pain? It's like head pain or
Oh yeah,
like nerves
it's
or what?
just it for me. It feels like in certain parts, like here and around here,
Uh-huh.
it feels like your brain is actually like trying to break its way out.
Oh, geez,
Um,
yeah, that's bad.
and I had like a little bit like I don't go blind, but it does like it sort of like fucks with my like time dilation. It's sort of like I feel
Oh,
like
that's interesting.
me moving like this,
Yeah.
it's like things register like a second later, and
You got low FPS.
yeah, no shit, no joke, and
Your frame rate.
and I think like a lot of people, I get really sensitive to light.
See, that's my
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
He literally um well, I don't know. I haven't talked to him about him in a while,
I
but
hope he doesn't have them anymore because
I don't know. I'm
I
sure
remember
he
when we were
does.
younger,
Well, yeah, and I mean
he'd call
even
out every now and then. Yeah,
oh yeah, and then when I lived with him for a couple of years, that's when I discovered there are certain times that you cannot disturb him because you'll start the whole process over again. So, and he would literally lock himself in his room,
yeah,
put like a wet towel over his face, and then just lay down,
yeah,
for hours. No outside stimuli, no TV, no music, nothing, no light.
yeah.
See, mine are 100% ocular. So all they do is fuck with my eyes. So, and
Mm,
then I just my vision will start to flash, and then I get like little tunnel vision kind of things, and then that's when. So this is what sucks is because if I'm doing that somewhere where I can't spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes, like I've done this where I've had this on the interstate, and it's like, well, fuck, I guess I better pull over, because I'm not going to be able to see in about 2 minutes.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's true. And
I've
I
had to
can
do that a couple times.
you can feel it kind of like inching in.
Huh?
Everybody can, and then yeah. But this is the first time that I was like fucking like because all you can do like you just grab
Mm,
a handful of whatever pain medication you can and
yeah.
just like disappear into the darkness. But so because I got that so bad, like the next day, and I was still like suffering with it. I'm like fuck. I was like, is there any is there any advancement in migraine tech?
I think there's a shot that you can get.
Maybe there's a shot, but
Yeah.
it turns out that there's a medication out there that evidently it's like super successful. It's
Oh, nice.
like 86% of people like get relief from.
That's good.
Like where can one obtain this? And so I typed it in, and it's like it's right here at your local Safeway. And I
Really?
was yeah, and I was
Do you
like
need a prescription for it?
in this country, in
Yeah.
every
Okay.
other one you don't.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I was about to grab my shoes, and then it's like, oh, got it. Every other place you don't need a prescription, just this one. So um, just this country.
Okay. So get some.
I will.
Okay.
But I mean, you're talking about shit where it's like after it happens, right?
Yeah, I
It's
know,
just
but
I
if
know,
if
but
it happens like
I know.
again, you definitely want that on hand.
Right.
So
So I will at some point, and I'll just ask him about it. I have no idea. And to this day, I still don't know particularly what like triggers it on. But
oh, I have no idea either. I've never been able to figure it out.
yeah,
So it's said like for a long time I thought it was because I was dehydrated or something like that.
I did
That's not
too.
it.
Nope.
It's not it.
Nope.
I thought it was like so for a long time there, especially like when I was working a lot more frequently.
Yeah,
So I thought it was fluorescent lights,
I did too.
and
Yeah,
it's not that.
it's not computer lights for
It's
me.
not computer lights.
I don't think they
Although
help.
no, they don't help. And like on all my monitors, even the ones at work and stuff, I turn the blue
Yep.
the blue correction on or whatever it
Yep.
is, and that actually helps because that I think that might like if you got one starting, that one kind of like put some gas on the fire, so to speak.
I think so. Well, on top of that, like no shit. When it comes down to it, you can actually feel the difference of eye strain when you
Mhm.
turn that feature on.
Oh yeah.
Now, granted, you don't have to. It has a sliding scale, so you don't
Yeah.
have to go 100
Hmm.
because shit just looks weird at that point. But
There will be times where I will grayscale my phone or something like that.
gray's different
Yeah.
because that's.
So
But like when you take all the blue out and you just leave it as this,
it's
it,
kind of yeah.
it makes that. It looks like it turns into like the like a weird sepia. It looks like an old
It looks
photograph
fuzzy.
you're not supposed to be
Yeah,
looking at.
it looks fuzzy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've experimented with some of that stuff, but like other than it's just like, all right, just shut it off.
Yeah.
Go find something else to do.
Yeah.
For a bit, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah. So that sucked. I was like, fuck. It's like 2 days were consumed by this shit. I was still feeling it today too. Like still a little bit like lightheaded.
Yeah,
It's like shit. It's like I don't know.
yeah. I would talk
I'm
to your
hoping
doctor
this.
about it.
Yeah. So
So
I'm hoping this is the last
I
one.
know
But
Ryan's had many run-ins with doctors over the years trying to figure his out because his last it's like he'd have a bad day and then he'd have a hangover day after it. That's basically just kind of cooked.
that's
So
evidently that's the term for it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Is there a hangover? I've never had that before.
I've never had that, so
No.
I'm not saying I'm not jealous, but
No, that'd be something that I'd be happy to. So there's a few things that if I get through life and I never experience them, I'll be okay. So I would have been okay never having that. Um, gout.
did you have gout?
Nope.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm
Me
just
neither.
talking about if I never have gout, I'll be okay.
My dad had gout for a little bit.
I know your dad. Of course he did.
Well,
He
he
was a.
ate too much fucking
I was gonna say, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He's an East Coast guy that ate organ meat. I mean, it's. They don't call it the king's disease for no reason, Patrick. I am yet to pass a kidney stone. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, So there was uh, one of the guys over at the yacht club. He moved, but he used to get those every 8 months or so.
Ugh.
And it was just
I know
like,
guys
where
like that
is he?
too.
He's like, oh, he must be pissing, fucking rocks out. Again. And he would just get them over and over again. And then, he'd come back in and I mean, to be fair, the guy was basically a human trash panda. So,
So, so it wasn't like when people tell that you
right. It was like, come on, man.
right. Yeah, I did. I knew guys that would have them about once every 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah. See, I thought I was started developing those a little while ago. But no, I did the ultrasound thing, and then the last time I did a CT scan, they were like, "There's not a single rock in you, dude." And I was like, "Cool."
Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, "Great," and I was like, "So what do I need to change?" They're like, "Whatever you're doing, just keep doing that because it's working." And I was like, "Okay."
You know what? I think there's part of it too. Is like I think some people are inclined to rocks and other guys
Some
aren't.
people are inclined to
Yeah.
rocks. Yeah.
I think there are things that they just like brilliant.
These are rocks. Some people get pimples. You get rocks.
Oh, dude, it's just you talk about pimples. Yeah, that's one of the great side effects of testosterone replacement therapy as
Oh,
an
yeah.
adult. Yeah, I love having adult acne. I did. Did I tell you? No, of course not. I haven't said that because that was on
Yeah, they
Monday.
changed all your people.
So I got to the bottom of that.
Were they selling like patient data?
Patrick. So I
Oh,
I uh I spoke to the president of the company.
oh, you're 3 for 3, buddy.
Yeah, he told me. He actually no, he's not. He's like the step down. He's like the number two guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he has me saved in his phone, and I do too. Because so I showed you that it's almost cleared up now.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah. You blew a vein on you. Yeah.
right. I showed you that. So it's been 2 weeks, and it's finally almost cleared up. And
Mhm.
so the last time I went down there, they did it again. All they had to do was get 4 vials of blood out of me to do some testing,
Mhm.
and she just goes in there and she just can't do it. And she's like, you know what? I'll go ahead and get your expo. I was like, you know what? No, you won't. Just it's fine. You go ahead and stop what you're doing. Let me talk to the doc, and I'll get out of here. Right. So the doc comes back and he's like, everything okay? It's like, no, sir, it's not okay. It's like, and I'm not mad at you. It's like, but I need to point something out, man. He's like, what? He's like, I feel like I've said this before. Who's the fucking idiot that fired everyone that knows how to draw blood?
Yeah.
Like, the people that work here,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know what they were doing wrong,
Yeah.
but the one thing that they have to do, they were good at that.
Right.
Why the fuck did you fire those people? And he's like, hey, man, I don't know. It's like, I didn't, it wasn't me. I'm like, it wasn't you. I know that. Who was it? Right? He's like, I'm not sure. I was like, find out. And so he gets me a number, and it's to the corporate center. It's not their call services. Calls to somebody at a desk whose name I could never get because she couldn't pronounce it. And so I call this person, and they said, look, this is the person. This is the person in charge of HR. If anybody knows, it'll be her. So I call this person. I get in touch with her, and I was like, asking her the same question, like, did you fire all those people at the store? She's like, well, I didn't. I was like, did you? She's like, well, I can't,
No, she
discuss.
can't talk about that shit.
Well, here's the thing: is ultimately they did because
That's interesting.
all right. So check this out. So she then says like, this would have been something like on the regional side. So
Okay.
tell you what, I'm gonna get in touch with that person, and I'll call you back. Me or he'll call you back. It was on Friday.
Mhm.
All right. So Friday comes and goes, no call back. Monday, it's getting towards the end of the day, no call back. So I call that chick back, and um, this person is just like, I can't get her. She's in a meeting. I was like, what does that mean to me? It's like
Mm.
that's your problem. It's like, go knock on the door. Well, so eventually she she gets this, and she tells the regional person, the person in charge at the center,
Mhm.
right? Um,
So is this like all just? Is this like UC Health or is it just a testosterone place?
this is just a testo
Okay. All
place.
right. I was
Yeah,
just curious.
it's part of another company,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
But so she tells this lady to call me, and she calls, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Stephanie." I'm like, "I know you." It's like, I've talked to you about this before.
Mhm.
And I was like, you didn't fire those people, did you? She's like, no, I didn't. That happened before I got here.
Mm.
It's like, why are you calling me? It's like, did the person who called you tell you anything? She's like, well, no, she just said that there's somebody mad that I need to talk to. Like, that's not okay. Call that dumbass back,
Mhm.
okay, and tell her to get in touch with me. This is not how this works.
Mhm.
If you didn't do this, I don't have a problem with you. So she does that. She calls back to that thing, and then it's like 4 hours later, I get this call from a dude. I don't know. He's just like, "What's going on, man?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" And he's just telling me like, what's going on, and I was like, "What did they tell you?" He's like, "Nothing." It's like, don't you see a problem with this? It's like, why is nothing the answer
Mm-hmm.
that's been going around in this? So he and I talked for a while, and it turns out, because I asked him point blank, I'm like, they could draw blood. Your new staff can't. Why did you get rid of the people who could do their job?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I can't be that specific,
Yeah.
but what I can say is because of certain criminal activities, they are no longer welcome in. Is like, we cannot keep them on board. I said, that's like all you. It was like it's like Pulp Fiction. I was shit, Negro. That's all you had to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where it's something where, and I'm talking to him. It's like it's just even a simple statement where you say because I asked him too that thing that William said. I was like, so if your medical staff was all gone the next day by the time you got in,
I'd probably just go find a new clinic.
right,
Yeah.
right. Wouldn't you want the people to know that no, your actual medical stuff was in place? And so, I'm talking to him, and I was like, it's easy statement. You say like, we have every faith in their medical abilities. The only problem was there were issues that came down to compliance with our company. We could not retain them. We had to do this over. And so he's talking for a while. He's like, "What do you do?" And so I started telling him about this stuff. He's like, how do you? It's like you're observant because evidently. So he told me that Stephanie chick that called me.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out she was lying to me because he said, well, he's like, well, I didn't want her as the center, person. It's like actually, like, what do you think of that Rob guy? I'm like, he seems like he's mostly there,
Mm-hmm.
but he's just like a little bit too late. He's asking me about all these people and stuff. And Stephanie, turns out she fired 3 of those people. I was like, so, but she told me point blank that was all done before,
She got there.
yeah. It's like, so ultimately he's like, listen, when you come in, it's like, I'm supposed to be there Friday. He's like, I don't know if I want to go on Friday. He's like, no, you're going to go in on Friday. It's like, because it'll be different when you get there on Friday. As a matter of fact, he's like, so this is me. This is my number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's like, I'm saving your number here in my phone. I'm like, can I save yours? He's like, yeah. It's like, if you ever have any problems whatsoever down the road, you call me directly.
There you go.
It's like, okay, no problem.
It took a while, but you finally found a confident dude.
Well, this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, Will asked me, like, he was the one who was like giving me grief there. He was like, I've never had to reach out to anybody.
I don't think he was really giving you grief.
Hey, he was.
Oh, okay.
Well, because he'd be right to do so. Because most of the time, it's like that. If you, what is it again? It's like if you meet one asshole and
you're the one who brought that up, so well, I think you're a little subconscious.
Look, most of the time
yeah.
it's true. Okay, so it's so Will's kind of like side eyeing me. He's like, "You're kind of like a Karen, aren't you?" It's like, stop it. But
he never said that. You just said that.
No. There's this.
You got a little self projection.
There's a little bit derision there because it was like because I don't like it. I understand that taking blood can be tricky, and it's like I don't want you to think like I'm not a 400-pound man hog, and I understand like with some dudes,
no,
it's probably tough getting in there. It's like, look, you got a lot of
the hardest is old ladies. So,
because their veins are weak.
It's really easy to blow a vein.
Yeah,
so it's happened to my mom dozens of times. So.
Well, I know. Yeah. You've seen my mother.
Oh yeah,
it's like in terms of like her veins, like you could see them.
You can see him just fine.
You can see him through her shirt. So it's
not because she lifts Volkswagens.
Guys, my food checked.
Right, yeah.
And he was saying, he was like, well, they're new. They got to practice. I was like, oh, are these interns? It's like, well, no. It's like, well, then their practicing is over. These are professionals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, like, that's why I was asking you whether it was like a big thing, like a hospital group or something like that. Then it would be like, all right, so you've got some recourse here and stuff like that. And especially if it's like, well, that's the only place in town I can get that shit. So, I mean, there are other places. They're actually farther away, or there are. Most of it is done by mail away. Or I have seen that, yeah.
And I got to tell you, I don't really want to shoot myself on this. Like, I'll be fine, but you still have to, every 4 weeks, you got to go ahead and do labs and shit. And
yeah, so you might as well go in. Yeah.
And because of what happens to me, I have to actually get rid of a pint of blood every 4 weeks too.
You gotta do bloodletting?
I do.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, because that's part of the process is when you basically inject testosterone, it's going to actually make more blood, right? And so it gets thick, like real thick. And then suddenly because
They would never let me do that.
what?
I take blood thinners as it is, so they would never let me do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
they would never let me do
I think there are some people that do both. I mean, but it depends on what you need.
it. I don't need it.
They need to talk to you, and frankly, if your numbers are fine, who cares? So
They are now.
yeah, but yeah, that's how that goes. I'm like, oh damn, man, it's like
Well, you found the guy. You got his
I
number
found
now.
the guy. I
So
found the
there you
guy.
go. You got a hookup
This is
in the tea store.
I think he wanted to offer me a job.
So we'll take.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I don't think you need another
This
job.
is not my no.
Yeah.
And it's not my area of expertise, dude. It's not.
Well, I mean, the world's always looking for competent people. So most of the thing happens. Like most of the stories are like people get involved in industries that I hear from students and stuff like that. It's chance encounters like that that turn out to be like, you're the exact guy that I need right now. It's like, can you help me with all my problems? And you're like, yes. It's like, what do you know about testosterone? Nothing.
Well,
It was like, well, guess what? We're going to teach you about that stuff.
well, it goes in a vial, and the vial goes in a needle, and the needle goes in my blood.
Right.
And it goes in opposite cheeks. It goes in the left and the right, depending on which week you come in. And then what happens is when your body gets a little bit too thick, and there's your heart is trying to pump maple syrup, then you have to get rid of some blood.
See, that makes sense. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. It's another company that I've had a fight with, man.
It doesn't sound like they really fought you that much. So this isn't like the last people where they hung up on
the
you.
fucking glasses people.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So
I mean, about like little potatoes here. It's like son of a bitch.
I think you're batting pretty good.
That one I would have I would have gone to small claims court for like $25 for the minimum amount on that one because I'm like, you motherfuckers. It's like this is just pathetic.
I've never been to small claims court. I've been looking for an excuse. So
you want to sue me for something?
No, I mean I don't want to do it for funsies and just waste somebody's time.
You guys know each other? Yes, we're actually both okay with the outcome. Sir, do you consent to being recorded today?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just like so. This whole semester, I've been driving, listening to like consumer advocacy radio.
There is such a thing.
Well, it's just a radio show that where these people call in when they have problems with businesses. Okay.
Okay.
And then they try and solve them, and so they do a lot of the same thing that you do. They look for people in the company who know what they're fucking doing. Try and figure out what happened. Sometimes they get, confrontational. Sometimes business owners really like apologetic and says, I didn't know that was going on, kind of thing. So I listen to this shit every day, kind of thing.
All right.
But it's surprising how many people just won't cross that threshold, where it's like, well, I just want to check. I don't want to have to like go to court and stuff like that, and it's like, well, that's what it's there for.
Right.
So if you're serious about it, then yeah, that's what you need to do. So because they have to respond to you. Now it's going to be hard for you to collect that check. That's the quiet part they don't say out loud.
Well, because if we go back to it, like the dudes who were working in your basement, that would have been the next step for you, right?
Yeah.
That would have been the only recourse.
Well, no, and actually I couldn't take a small claims course because it's more than $5,000. So you got a cap. So
what does that go? This is straight up civil court.
Yeah, then it's big boy court where you need lawyers and stuff. So,
okay, well then, yeah. So you've been going to big boy court, and it doesn't sound like you wanted to do that.
No, I didn't care that much. So the thing works. So
It does now,
it does now. Yeah.
but they still didn't finish the job.
They did not finish the job.
Yeah.
So it's way too late now. So
Right.
But anyway, neither here nor there. But there's a lot of people who, can I, just get to just write me a check, kind of thing. And it's like, well, they could, and they probably should, but if they don't, this is what you got to do,
Right.
kind of thing. It's
Right.
like, I'm not going to handhold you all the way through it. So, and small claims court, you're not allowed to have lawyers anyway. So that's the whole idea. You actually get a chance to actually confront whatever grievance you have in front of a judge, and they're going to solve it that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe they need to do that with bigger claims.
I don't know. There's got to be a reason why it's at 5,000. So I have no idea.
5,000 is not.
It's not
That's
that
not money
long.
to sneeze at, though.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're dealing with contractors and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, you can find car repairs that are more than $5,000.
That's true. That's
you know,
true.
so
See, that actually makes the argument that it should be up to like 15,000.
I don't know why they haven't said it 5. I know who to ask, but she's not here.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Isn't there? I'm trying to remember. Aren't there? There are lines in the Constitution which actually specify a dollar.
$20.
Yeah.
It's the one that everybody ignores because they're like, "Oh, that's so cute."
What is it for? What is the $20?
It's for redress in claims court.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it's $20. It's actually in the Constitution.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that, and I just remember thinking, like, you guys should have thought that one out.
Well, you didn't know what inflation was. Yeah.
That's a good point. So, like, inflation probably had happened throughout the.
Inflation's almost a distinctly 18th or 19th and 20th century phenomenon.
Well, that's what the Adam Smith House of Thought.
Yeah, just David Ricardo more specifically.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, it's that era.
Okay.
The inflation's actually a really, 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 really new thing.
Fairly much. So it does span of human
history your inflation was measured in goats.
Right.
So,
Well, that's what I'm saying. In theory, the concept was there, right?
It's possible, but like the Romans didn't really mint money. They didn't print it like we do on a computer.
No.
Yeah. So you actually had to make it.
That is correct. Yeah. And I have seen. So it seems like a lot of like coin makers, they had an A team and a B team.
It changes over time too.
Yeah.
Some of the A team is actually older than the B team.
Yeah.
And then like the Crusades, it's like, wow, look at this fucking and then you get to like the fucking Doges of Venice. It's like, this is a really nice coin. It's well, this has only been 100 years since that fucking shit that you guys.
It's just, I feel bad because you get these ones that look great, and then it's just like, yo, man, when did they start putting your retarded cousin on the money? Yeah, exactly. And it's like, that's Caesar, dickhead.
Caesar, yeah. Has he got Garfield eyes? Yeah.
And then you get to the nice coins, and then eventually you're like, oh yeah, oh, you guys. That's why people make fun of you guys. That's why they put ridges on the outsides of these coins.
Yes. So you can break chunks of them off.
It's not something that was a little bit fucked up, but it made me laugh. So if you go to the ADL website,
ADL,
the Anti-Defamation League.
Oh, okay.
They have a catalog of basically anti-Semitic things, right? And
wait a minute, I thought they were like anti that. No. They're the Jews, right?
They are the Jews.
Why would they have a catalog of anti-Semitic things?
Because it's basically listing the things.
Oh, I thought you could order one. Never mind. My bad.
No. There is something to that in the sense that there is like to remember your past. You can collect stuff from the thing, but there are some things that.
Sorry.
Well, no, you look at the things and a lot of them like make sense. You're looking at the stuff. You're like, we talk about those numbers. It's like, okay, 1488 got it. I'm like, you know the 88 part. You know the symbols. You look at the.
I think that one's pretty new. So
Yeah, some people say it goes back, but
they always try and invent
but
history
it's
around this shit. Come on, man, don't buy that stuff.
no. I know. And there's one in there, and you're looking through these serious ones, and then you get to one that's like, you're fucking kidding me, and you see that one of the one of the anti-Jewish symbols is to glue a penny to the ground,
Okay,
and that see to me that seems like just a
it's just a
practical
joke.
joke,
Yeah,
but evidently that's anti-Semitic.
my understanding is the anti-defamation, the ADL, will basically claim every piece of land out there that could be like
I
not
think
like
you're right.
actual land,
No,
but like
no.
you know, like
Yes,
internet land
yes, yeah.
that can be even remote, just in case it does become that. You know?
Preemptively owning it as
Right.
anti-Semitic. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's when you pass the blankets out before you put up the land office. Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there where, yeah, you get it. I'm like, oh, okay, and I can see this, and I can see and then there's weird ones where it's disputed because they're like so the lightning bolt SS's in Kiss, they thought, it's like, well, this is clearly anti-Semitic. I'm like,
They just thought it looked cool.
well, on top of that,
Yeah.
two of the guys are Jewish.
Right. They
Like,
just thought it looked cool.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't actually stand for anything cool either.
No.
Like, you should, like when people say, I hear it stands for Knights in Satan's Service, you should say yes. But no, they were just what they.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. When they come up with a cooler name than what you thought. And then when the actual answer is, it's like, so why did you? It's like, well, we were originally going to call the band Fuck, but then we realized this is a true story. It's like we couldn't get on the radio, and so we batted around a little bit and decided on Kiss.
Okay.
Like, you know what? Okay, got it. So not Knights in Satan's
Not
Service,
Satan's
which would have been
Service.
cool.
Way cooler.
I mean, it's so corny that. Listen, I really appreciate the corniness if you're going to go that far.
Yeah, you might as
Right.
well, man. I mean, whatever. I mean, come on, you got the makeup and everything right
Exactly.
now. You're fine. You're already halfway there. Just step on over, step through the metal detector.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're flying on cables. You're spitting blood.
Right.
It's like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Just go the rest of the way. But at the same time, like, with a name like this, you guys sing about the dumbest shit.
Their songs are awful. I don't understand it, man.
It's
I
like-
never have.
Why do you guys dress up like space monsters and just
Just eat women.
but sing about rock and rolling all night and partying every
Right.
day? Oh no, man, it was making me laugh. But earlier on, yesterday, in your message, you expressed concerns about the fluctuations in our market. Yes.
I didn't look at it today, but I did look at it last night. It seemed like it had recovered, so I was like, whatever.
I think you know what? I think we're fine. I think shit worked out.
Well, I don't know yet, man. I mean, we'll see. Like,
I agree, but
I mean, China is that's
the sticking point.
that is a big deal. So,
Correct.
and then putting whatever. I mean, he keeps upping it too, which is hilarious. It's kind of like 125%. We're gonna do 120. I'll do 150%. It's just like, all right. So sometimes there's these moments of brilliance, and there's other times where it's just like, God, you were dumb. Stop.
No,
Get that out of your fucking mouth.
Patrick. Dude, if there was ever a Storage Wars moment in our
It's
presidential
totally what
history,
it is.
when it's like, how did you come to that number? Okay,
Right.
got it.
Yeah. Just not going to let Ricky win the bid, huh? So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. I don't know, man. It was just, I was a little surprised he did a U-turn yesterday. I was a little surprised by that.
What, the 90-day pause? Well,
Yeah,
okay,
I was a
so
little surprised by that because, like a lot of dudes in his cabinet were saying, "Oh, we should do that," and then he went, "Ah, shut up," kind of thing, the day before, and then he completely changed his mind the next day. It was like, okay, all right. So he said, "I'm flexible." It's like that's one way to call that.
well, see, here's the thing. I don't even see it that way. The thing was, all right, and I'll and it could be ultimately it could be something that, all right, it could be like a strategic retreat. It could be something where he folded. It could be something like that. I don't see it that way because he has the mind of a fucking flea. I think he had a couple.
I don't think he's that stupid, but
No, it's not about stupid. It's about jumpy. It's about boing, boing,
oh
boing, boing,
yeah,
boing, boing.
okay,
Okay,
got
so
it.
that's the thing is the I think he has certain strategies. And look, to if the whole point of this, and when 75 plus countries call you and say, all right, we're going to negotiate, all right, a ceasefire makes sense. It's like, all right, tell you what, why don't we do that? I don't need to beat you up in the
Hmm.
meantime. What I'm going to do is, all right, everybody that came to the table, the shit's off.
Hmm.
You over there in that country over there who raised your stuff to 80 something percent, all right, um, stays on for
Hmm.
you, right?
Yeah.
And to me, like that makes perfect sense because ultimately, Patty, let me say this. As a result of this, things have changed, right? There's no way that we come out of this with things the same as they were in terms of now, China may be a different story.
Something will change.
And I'm not
Yep.
necessarily saying that we come out of this, I don't want to say necessarily for the worse. I can't say that yet.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
absolutely not going to say, but I will say in terms of saying that yes, this country has a lot of leverage. People are figuring out what happens when they use it, and that is going to be a pretty. Everybody knows that's a card in the deck that can be played now.
Well, and it's been there forever too. The thing is like we don't like to play that card because it actually runs counter to a lot of the narratives that actually exist in politics. Because what's the card that we actually play? It's access to the American middle class. That is the card, which
Right.
is hands down the most powerful group of people on the face of the fucking planet.
You mean in terms of selling stuff too?
Just in sheer terms of raw power.
Okay. Okay.
Just in terms of the money they can bring to the table, the amount of people they can bring to the table.
The
Their
speed upon which they can bring that money.
speed of which it's the most competitive and discerning market in the entire world. Everybody thinks that American consumers are boobs. We're not. We are professional ad blockers.
Don't fuck around. Like, it's
I
just
know.
like, don't.
You don't sell me no fucking broken cheap Chinese shit, So
So, no, yeah, you're right. It's
yeah,
like your average consumer by 8 in this country knows more.
way more than
Yeah,
any Frenchman ever. So
right.
I'm sorry, motherfucker. Have you been to one of our supermarkets?
What do you? I mean, this is what you tell people is like when you talk about like the food situation here in America, right? Imagine the situation we're in where all of those like restaurants and stuff
Mhm.
were beating each other senseless to get people to buy food away from home 5 to 7 times a week.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, and like eventually people get wise to it. And that's my point behind this, man, is just like, and so that runs counter to the like, oh, the little guy, the middle class in America is shrinking and it's dying and blah, blah, blah. It is as strong as it has ever been. And that's why everybody tariffs it.
Well, I
Okay.
think it's actually about to get bigger.
Well, well, we'll see. I mean, technically it never actually, by its definition, it never actually grows or shrinks because it's the middle 3/5 of
Right,
American
but
population. It's
right,
population. It's not
right,
based on money.
right,
It's based upon you take the guy who makes $0 and you put him at one end. You take Elon Musk and put him at the other end,
right.
and then you just count all the way down. So if you're in the middle 3/5 of that, you're in the middle class, which includes people that go from I think it's like 52,000 all the way up to 220 some $1,000s now, so, something like that. Which is that's I mean that's by definition that's more than half of the country.
It's a huge range.
It's a
Right.
huge range, and it's not including like all the people who actually are in the bottom fifth, but are homeowners because they're retirees, and
Right.
so they make
Right.
$16,000 a year, but they own two
What is
houses,
that
a car, and live
Yeah.
on a golf course, and have a 401k that has RMDs every single year.
Right.
And so there's, and that's the thing about it is like people don't like to hear this because it makes it forces us to realize that Americans are way better off than we like to say that we are. So, and that's why we don't like to play that card. Donald Trump has no problem, no fucking problem playing that card. Nope, because he's like, it's the best one in the deck.
Well, he's right, and
Yeah,
he
no,
has to
totally
play
right.
it now.
Yes.
And here's the thing is I got to tell you, I have zero compunctions about this because, like, all right, there has been an argument about this that I didn't particularly see at the front. Now, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is like so. There are certain things that it comes to the demographic, certain things that you've noticed, certain things where it's like, why are all these fucking elderly people all the ones out here protesting at the Tesla dealership?
Because they can afford to do it. They don't,
Well, they can, and on top of that, it's we talked about this the other week, is because the Republican base is getting younger, right? That's the thing is that's
the Democrats
like
are getting older,
right?
So.
And so when it comes to something like this, and you do something that fucks up the stock market, right?
It really makes them mad.
The older people
get really mad
who are using their money to make money freak the fuck out, right?
Yeah, but that's always been true. So it just so happens that the boomer generation right now, I hate that, but whatever.
Well,
I get it, but your kids who grew up in the 60s and the 50s and stuff like that, they are in their 70s and 80s. They watch the stock market way more closely than anybody else.
Right.
They are also the most politically active couple generations of people ever in the history of the United States.
Right.
Since its fucking founding. So,
since.
And so, of course, it makes perfect sense after I thought about it for about 5 minutes. It was like, oh, I see why they're at the Tesla thing. This is just what they do.
Yeah.
So, okay, got it. I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked that there's not a whole bunch of, purple hair kids there, that there's not. And then I look at my students, it's like, oh, that makes sense. You all trying to get fucking jobs. So,
well, and that's that was the thing was there has been this press, this full court press, and they're not far off on this. I mean, I will say that a lot of this comes to this will solve itself because that generation is on the cusp of death.
They're going to be around for a while. That thing, fucking all the medical advances, man.
No, I understand.
We're never going to get away from that, Jeff.
I get
it. Who do you think is going to buy the fucking Neuralink? It's not me. It's my grandfather. It's my dad. Or my father-in-law is going to get one.
Oh, your in-law, yeah. It's like, Jim missed out on that one.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
And I don't know if he would have signed up for that. Is that the kind of thing?
Totally wouldn't. No, my dad would not approve of anything about Elon Musk.
So. All right. So the thing here, and they make a good point on this, is there has been a push there where they talk about, look, here's who owns what in this country. Here's how this class is struggling to buy houses right now. I'm like, okay, I get it. And like you and I discussed there a while ago, I think a lot of that will happen as death happens, and
it'll be
that transfer of wealth has to move from one place to another.
It's a fucking waterfall of wealth. I
think they said it's the greatest transfer of wealth.
Yes,
in human history.
In human history,
right.
Yes, and we are going to be around to watch it happen.
That's correct. But for them in their situation, they are struggling, and they're like, to their position, they're like, why? Because these people have been squeezing us, in this group. Because there is some truth to it when you say, like, all right, I don't know how, like, I can't say specifically how many jobs are going to be coming out of this. I know that we have like $2 trillion pledged of investment into this country. I'm like, that will equal jobs. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
Right? I have no idea.
Honestly, you're just going to have more jobs just based on retirements in the next few years. So,
well, if they pay, that's fine.
They do. I mean, yeah,
but that's what I'm saying is so that young crowd that's disenfranchised, they didn't mind at all when they saw the stocks fucking like blowing shit up.
Oh no, it's great for them because it's a great opportunity to invest. So
absolutely right.
No, it's great time. I mean, that's like, yeah, I was kind of hoping that raviolis went down by another 20 grand. I would have bought some more. So,
right.
yeah. And so, like, every time that, we get a little bit of rumbling and, the fucking Business Insider starts screaming at me to sell all my raviolis, I'm like, go on,
Right. Right.
So, please go out there and induce more panic. So, because if it crashes, I will absolutely buy more,
Well, that's the meme that's going around there where they show it's the picture of two guys. It's like smug like fucking DiCaprio on the bottom, and
Mhm.
then the fucking like panicked like going crazy Wall Street guys.
Mhm.
It's like Wall Street guys -8%, and they're fucking like ready to jump out the window. Crypto guys -50%. And they're just like cracking a beer. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah.
it's like yeah, I know.
It's not my first rodeo.
Right.
No.
But yeah, and so that actually made sense, and I think that's the kind of stuff that actually will sort of this stuff is the kind of thing that actually will cement this base into like Republican status. Is like when somebody actually does take a swipe at it, yeah, that's
I
a
think
big
that
deal.
depends on what happens after Donald Trump. So,
Well,
I mean, you can have a really good,
you're right.
you
You're
have
right.
a really good Reagan, and then you follow him up with a George Herbert Walker Bush, and you blow the whole thing. So,
Yeah, but that dude was just a Howard Dean scream away from being like,
dude, he was like the best president I've ever
yes,
seen us have. But then,
right.
I mean, he got beat. He was like, well, I guess I got beat. I'm going to write him a really nice letter. It's kind of like, oh,
You know what? You're right, and I'll bet you if any president actually had legitimately great penmanship, it's.
it's probably George Herbert Walker
Am
Bush.
I wrong?
So he probably, yeah, actually used one of those like fancy fucking inkwells. So,
He's like the last person. Like, okay, so it's like his son got the job. It's like, where do I put the X?
right,
So
yeah.
it's like,
Can you make me a stamp? Here, I'll just teach you how to write my name down.
check this out, guys. The treasure's buried here.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've seen Donald Trump's signature. It's
I'm still waiting. In theory, I'm supposed to get one.
for what?
Well, my dad died when he was president the first time, and you can actually request that they sign a letter.
Yeah.
For veterans at that time, so we put it in, and that was the second year of his first term. So he's been sitting on it for a little while, man.
Well,
but I kind of want that fucking heartbeat thing that he got. It's like, dude, you need to put down the donuts, man, if it looks like that. Come on, breathe.
It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm actually just trying to hold it steady.
Right, yeah, exactly.
This is just what happens.
This is just what happens, yeah. So, I don't know, man. I don't know how much I buy the whole, like, oh, we can't buy houses kind of thing. So,
well, the data was pretty convincing.
The data is convincing, but I can tell you right off the bat that I can find ways to skew that data in about 2 seconds.
Well,
so because here's how I would do that. I would go around and I would ask disaffected recent college graduates, okay, about like, well, what kind of struggles are you facing right now? And I guarantee you that buying a house or saving up enough to buy a house is going to be at the top of the list on that one. So right off the bat, I'm going to be able to say, oh, okay, well, 67% of my sample said that it's really difficult to save up and buy for a house right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that doesn't mean they can't do it. It just means they can't do it today. All right. So, and then the other thing that's about that is like a lot of people, when they say, well, I want to buy a house, and I've seen plenty of people, I went through this myself when I was on the house market for the first time. You try and buy your parents' house. Right. Okay. But your parents' house is a good 10, 15, 20 years of effort on their part before you even get near it, kind of thing. And so now that I'm a little bit older and I can actually spend some money on my house, I can look at it and be like, oh, that's why my parents never did that, because it's pricey. Okay. So they had to save for that for a little while. But by the time I was cognizant of the fact that my parents built a whole deck in their backyard, okay, I was like 8. And so when I'm 22, I think that's the kind of house that I should have,
Right.
So there's a little bit of that in there as well. The other thing is that a lot of them will use really skewed data in terms of like lending practices, because you can find instances out there where you have mortgage providers or local, like help a first time home runner out kind of
Yeah.
program, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then so they'll say, oh, okay, well, we can get you a $250,000 house with zero down, and you'll be able to do this, with this level of income and yada 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 and stuff like that. And the only way they can actually do that is by actually like pumping money into the loan in the beginning, all right, which they'll underwrite as a second loan for the down payment on something like that. Okay.
Okay.
And so some fucking dumbass will sign up for that, all right, who's 26 years old.
Okay.
Okay. And his friends will be like, well, Pat has a house. What the fuck, man? Yeah. So not realizing that, like I get completely predated on by shady lenders.
I was going to say, that sounds awful.
Oh, it happens. It happens all the time.
I can see that, yeah. I mean, if you want it that bad, I mean, they can do that. Well, all right. Is there any merit to... Look, this may be frog people talk, but is there
talked about frog people?
Well, so the thing is, it wasn't frog people talk 4 years ago. This is frog people talk now. But there's a discussion right now saying that those big groups, the Vanguards and the stuff like that, the BlackRocks, have bought a lot of the house. Is that true?
No. So if you look at the raw number, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But if you look at it as a percentage, okay, it's tiny. Okay, so I saw this one not too long ago. So if you take a look at those big guys out there,
yes.
If you take a look, and it's not just housing, it's rental stock.
Yes.
Okay, but if you take a look at it, and so for every BlackRock owned house that you find out there, you find about 100 that are owned by Jim down the street who saved up enough money to buy a second house and now rents it out. The vast majority of your landlords in the United States are single dudes.
Oh, okay.
So, but yes, so BlackRock it's not BlackRock, but there's another one.
BlackRock is one of them.
BlackRock is one of them.
It's not Vanguard. It's
no, but I know who you're talking about. But yes, they bought up large chunks. But usually, what they'll do is they'll find like Bob the local grocer. Okay, bought a house, moved out of his house, bought another house, moved out of his house, and eventually, a generation down in the line of his family, he's got about 30 properties. Okay.
Holy shit.
And then so when it comes time where he's like, well, I want to retire. Okay, let me get rid of all these. And, you can't find an individual buyer for all that shit. But you can sell it to a guy like BlackRock. So, because they have the cash to be able to buy all 30 of them houses at once.
What are they doing with it?
Well, they'll either rent them out or they'll sell them one by one. So they're very picky about which neighborhoods and stuff like that they go into. But it's just BlackRock's just a capital investment company.
So that's just
they'll make money wherever they can find it.
That's just a turn and burn asset for those guys. They're not trying to.
They're not using it to. Well, some of them do that because they set up what's known as a real estate investment trust, or REIT. Okay, and they do manage quite a few of those too, but that's basically an investment vehicle that they can turn around and sell to other investors. But then in that case, they have like 50 houses, okay, that are managed and are rented out professionally. Okay, but this is not new. They've been doing this since the 60s. So
are they doing it more?
I don't think so.
Okay,
so that there's been a narrative about that. It was like that's the reason why like. You have a new build neighborhood and they say that one's bought by BlackRock, and that one's bought by BlackRock, and that one's bought by BlackRock. That might be true in that case, but they're not buying it just so that you can't have a fucking house. They're buying it to make money off of it, man. So it's a good deal for them. Great. So I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean,
Okay, so the argument here is that the common conspiracy. Again, this was like. This is why I'm saying it's not just a frog people thing. So 4 years ago, the argument, it's just switched parties, right? Is that they were doing this for the purpose of saying that they were buying up as much property as they can, not just like in a crazy way, but just like when you see it, snap it up, right? Because it was by doing that they were able to artificially inflate the demand and raise the prices, raise the cost of housing.
They're not big enough to be able to do that.
Just too many. Just too much volume.
The housing market is so big that it's like, I mean, just look at your neighborhood. I mean, if we go around like 1 mile in a radius around here, we're talking what, 7,000-8,000 homes. Okay.
Think about
Think about how much cash that is just in a mile.
Patrick.
So in terms of like land value, just alone, it's insane.
It's wasted space. Think about how many people could live here in high density.
Think about how many fucking trains we could have, Jeff. Yeah. It's totally wasted space, man.
It's okay. It's the value.
Say like every house within a mile of this house is probably worth at least 350, $400,000, and you're talking about 8,000 of them. Holy shit, dude! Billions. You know?
From here to where? Where? How many streets down do we have to get before we're at a
Probably
billion?
not too much. Too much past. I'd say Palmer Park. So
Yeah,
no.
yeah. And some of those Palmer Park houses are definitely more on the bigger side.
There are a couple weirdo mansions up in there, man. So
Have you ever priced any of those out?
I almost bought one actually
Okay.
many, many moons ago. There was one that was a fix and flip that was probably like I want to say it was about $215,000 at the time. It was maybe a 2,500 square foot house, and it was a custom house, but it had been gutted.
For
So,
what reason?
well, I don't have no idea.
But it just had
It
been.
just
Okay.
had been
Yeah.
gutted. It was
Yeah.
not ready for sale or show,
Yeah.
and the guy was just trying to offload it. And I went in there, and my wife and I went in there, and it was on what's that, Mazieland?
Yeah.
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 So it's got
Where it
the
takes
S
the
curve.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
S curve. Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
place that you don't belong.
No, but there are some like fucking Hollywood Hills homes up
Yes.
there, man.
Yes.
Just a couple, but there
I
are.
knew one person that had a house up there.
Yeah. Well, I did too, and it was fancy. So
Yeah.
he was the only kid that I knew whose house had two doors on the front of it.
Oh, this wasn't a kid. This is
Yeah.
the only person I knew that had a one of the mansions up there.
Uh-huh.
Was a cigarette lawyer.
Okay, all right, there you go. Maybe this was his place. I have no idea.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, but anyway, it was really nice. It was a cool little house and stuff like that. And it did need a lot of work on the inside, but this was when I was a lot younger, and I was like, yeah, let's get brr, get brr.
I'm gonna get this place up, man.
So now it's like, fuck that. If I can't pay somebody to do it, it ain't getting done.
Well.
But anyway,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
we got vultured by a cash buy guy. So
Okay.
yeah, because
Yeah.
that was back in the day where there was like a lot of fix and flip going on. And so you did have these super predators running around there who were these guys who could come in and swoop in and drop
Right.
like the full price in cash and then fix the place and then flip it. Now that you can't do that anymore because the housing stock is like so expensive that it's not really worth it. I mean, you have to find something that's really fucked up in order to come in on 50 cents on the dollar or 30 cents on the, because that was Wayne's old rule. He's like, I never go on anything that I have to pay more than 30 cents on the dollar for. You can't find that anymore.
Well, with them, that's part of their deal, right?
That was his strategy.
No, for him, but like for now, like there are still people like doing that, but they're part of like firms that do this, right? To like defray the costs.
Well, either that or they're big enough guys where they can actually just carry one house until completion.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's a guy who's got like $1 million in his back pocket.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he can find a house that's at like 350, and then fix it up and turn it into a $500 house and make $150,000 on it. Okay. There's guys out there who do that. It's just not like what Wayne used to do, where he would buy a $100,000 house for $30,000 in pocket 70.
Right.
After he had done because that was way back when labor was way fucking cheaper too. You could go to the Home Depot and get trabajo. So it was a different world.
It was, and that being said, it has to change. There are certain aspects of this that.
Well, I mean, the thing that I like about it, and I hope this is true with the China thing, is number one, I think we buy way too much bullshit. We
correct.
really do. And
Yes.
I mean, the Chinese are very good at making cheap bullshit where it's like everybody needs, like, okay, I know you use yours. I use my Instapot, but I know a lot of other people where it makes like French fries once a year.
Right.
And then the same thing's true with like,
yeah.
I mean, so my backyard does have a grill. I do use it from time to time, but I don't have a smoker. Okay. I've known people who had smokers that were probably made in a place called China, and they've been used twice, or a turkey fryer,
Right.
or you go into somebody's garage and it was like, why do you have a full rack and tool set in here when I know you don't even change your own oil, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's the same. Like you go into everybody has a version of that downstairs room, and you go downstairs
Mhm.
and you say like, "You're into compound bows, huh?" It's like,
Right? Yeah.
no, not at all.
No, no.
I bought like $6,000 worth of equipment, used it once, and
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, and so that would be one thing. The other thing that I'd like to see is I'd like to see appliances that last more than 10 years.
Right,
So,
right.
because I mean, shit, dude, the first washer and dryer that I got when we got married in a place where we could have our own washer and dryer was already 30 years old at that time,
Right.
and it ran for another 10.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And honestly, the dial had come off, so you had to use a pliers to turn it. So I just had a vice grip on it. So
Did it take care of your clothes?
it would dry the fuck out of my clothes.
There you go.
It was awesome. So
Well, and you're right. There are some weird things about this that yes, that is that. Like China, the thing about it is it has that layer where it's the thing that gets to me is what is the joke? It's so when somebody buys like a crappy phone or something like that, you say that's the Temu version,
right, yeah.
Or the
Timu. Oh my god. And that man, that they have been trying to get me to buy shit like crazy on
Oh,
X the last couple of weeks, man.
well the funny thing is they have a layer now where there's a Temu version of Temu shit where it's a layer below.
Oh wow.
Right? And if you have enough layers where you can undercut and have a discount brand
Yeah.
of your discount brand, you got way too much authority.
There's way
Like,
too much shit going on.
because somebody should be undercutting you.
Yeah, well, and I mean, the idea that the Chinese market is actually a free market is ridiculous. So,
It has free aspects.
it's free-ish.
Sort of.
Yeah, until the government comes in and says, oh, you're going to make phones and cars now. So, and it's like, okay, so we have Huawei cars too? Yes, yes, you're going to do that.
Right.
Okay, here we
Right.
go. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, so Mr. Nice Guy, he broke it down like perfectly. He said, look, he was the dude that said like Trump's not going far enough. It's like I want 400% tariffs. And
Who is this?
Mr. Nice Guy, Kevin from Shark Tank.
Oh.
What's his last name? Kevin.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He's Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful. Okay, yeah. So
He's been pretty harsh on China for a while. He got fucked bad by a couple of deals.
he said just like so he's like, that's not enough. We need to go 400%. And he said, like, look, you guys aren't doing business in China. It's like I've done business in China. It's like they do not follow any rule that they say. It's like they're part of this trade organization. They have broken every rule in there.
Yep.
He's like, any piece of intellectual property that you send there, they will steal immediately.
Yeah.
He's like, and I have no way to remediate that in their courts.
No, you don't, because you're not Chinese.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so he's like, and they have been getting away with this
Yep.
for such a long time. And he's like, and we have this,
Yep.
while we still have this card in our pocket,
Play it.
we should play it.
Yeah, it is literally the best card that we can play. So they don't have anything that can beat it because, quite honestly, like if their whole system, and I can't wait to see the China guys tomorrow because I almost guarantee they're going to talk about this shit. So
Fascinating.
yeah,
I mean,
it's absolutely fascinating. Those two guys have been calling for this for years now. At this
like
point in
begging.
time. Begging for it. You're like, they're completely robbing you blind.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just it's okay.
The stories of the breakdown clinics in their buildings of like grab American tech, the engineers rip it to pieces to figure out all this
Figure out
stuff.
exactly what it is, and then copy it, and then. Well, the funniest one was their trains. They did that to Germany. So
Did they?
Yeah, so Germany brought in Siemens, who makes all these high-speed trains.
Oh yeah,
and they came in there and they said, "Okay, we're going to sign this contract with you. You know, you're going to help us build all this shit, and then you're going to have a permanent contract to help maintain it, okay, for years and years, and make all the replacement parts and stuff like that." And so they build this high-speed railroad, you know, and get it all up to speed. And the Germans start sending people over, and the Chinese are like, "No." It's like, we're not going to, yeah. We make our own trains now.
Oh.
And the guys went back and were like, wait a minute, we have a contract. And they're like, no. In fact, we're not going to give you any visas. And so they go back to the German government hat in hand. And they're like, what do we do? And they're like,
Are you asking us to go to war?
Yeah, exactly. It's way over there. No, it was just like this level of absolute naivete on the part of the Germans who were like, but you have contract, you know, just sign right here. And the Chinese are like, well, actually, in Chinese law, only contracts between Chinese are valid.
You know who else believes that?
Yeah,
The Ferengi from Star Trek. So,
it's true.
and I can quote. We're going to end on this one. The actual quote, the rule of acquisition
Right.
is a contract is a contract is a contract,
Mhm.
but only between
With
Ferengi.
Ferengis. Yep,
That is correct.
that is correct.
And they exist on our planet, Patrick.
In the 90s.
Well,
Oh no,
keep,
yeah.
look. All right, so the amazing thing, this is especially with the crew that they had on this. I find it amazing that they broke. It was like they had some sort of like, what movie is it? I've seen movies where they try to take a person, they try to split their evil side from their good side,
Oh yeah.
right, into two entities, and you have the super perfect person. And
Yeah, well, they did on Rick and Morty. So,
oh, there you go.
yeah.
Okay, well this goes back. So, somewhere back in the late '80s and the '90s, what they did was they tried to take the Jews and break them into those two parts, and they said these are the Bajorans, these are good Jews, and the big-eared guys with the fucked up noses,
These are Ferengis. And shark teeth.
the guys that are always wringing their hands about
Right.
these are the bad aspects.
Right,
of
right,
it.
right.
Yeah. And if you're China, you're more.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah.
I'm sorry, like I think they've even joked about it. I think they may have done that on purpose, but I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but it's really apt metaphor.
Yeah.
So it works really well. We'll see, man. No idea.
It's,
You were right about one thing, though, man. The world will be different. So
well, and that's in some ways. Remember, the guy I wanted to give the government the enema I thought it deserved was Bernie Sanders.
I think we're glad that didn't work.
So in hindsight,
Yeah, in hindsight.
We'll keep in mind, like, so people just don't know about enemas. Here's the thing: is like when you clean out the system and you wash it clean, there's bad bacteria and good bacteria. And when you get it all out,
some of it has shark teeth.
When you get it all out, new communities have to come in there.
They do.
Right? And they're not always benevolent. The thing is, when you clean it out, shit can be worse than what you had before. French Revolution style.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I mean, Bernie's people kind of showed us who they actually really are. So I don't think you would have been able to stay in that camp for very long, dude.
Patrick, I think that those guys. So
it's the do not work crowd. So
well, no, okay. So the followers are the do not work crowd. The actual camp, those guys are the dudes getting rich by hanging around the do not work crowd. They're the ones fleecing the do not work crowd. Like,
which in my book is actually okay.
Is it?
It's a very Ferengi solution.
I don't know how to answer that, man. Is it a super sin to take advantage of the people who are just bad? I mean,
how do they do it? How do they take advantage of them?
Well, so if you...
I don't want to open a whole new can of worms.
No. Well, okay, so again, two people that you want to take a look at here. Look at the value of Bernie Sanders. Look at the value of Elizabeth Warren. Okay, Elizabeth Warren...
Oh, you're talking about the actual guys.
Yes, and the cronies around them.
That's not okay.
Those people are fucking loaded.
Look, I don't mind the people that are selling, like the burn the system T-shirts and stuff like that. That's fine.
Yes.
I don't really care about that. I mean, whatever.
No, it's basically boutique rebellion. It's rebellion that starts at Hot Topic. It's like,
and that's fine by me because, quite honestly, the do not work crowd. I mean, if you don't want, I mean, they obviously have fucking money. So, I mean, other people have to eat.
The thing is, you cannot post on Reddit without product. So you have product, and you have warmth, and you have
right.
stuff. You have a sponsor.
You have data. You know, I mean, come on, man. So I'm sure you have multiple accesses to different streaming platforms.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So and so that I mean that's the whole Luigi thing, and I think that's fucking hilarious when you talk about that some other time.
Yeah, dude. It's
like, all right. So if you find some guy out there who's actually going to make a Luigi T-shirt and sell it to these boobs, okay, fine. Ferengi it out, dude.
All right. All right.
All right. Anyway, I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
Okay, thank you.